Travis Dermott remains a Leaf. The 23-year-old Leafs defenseman has signed a one-year contract with a cap hit of $874,125. This coming within, 48 hours of Ilya Mikheyev signing a 2-year extension with the Leafs, and supposedly they had a deal worked out, but Kyle Dubas called him up to say, actually, can you take a little bit less so that we can keep the band together? That, of course, is according to Ilya Mikheyev's agent, Dan Milstein, and why wouldn't he say that? It just makes Mikheyev look great. Look, he took a discount. But something else that they said that I thought they would end up regretting is, well, he doesn't want to see any more of his teammates get traded. And the second I read that, Dermott specifically, I'm like, Dermott's gone, dude. He has to be. Because seriously, in regular times, normal times, pre-COVID, what would Travis Dermott be getting right now? A career high of 17 points in a season, granted, but he's a defenseman and he's been injured. He scored at above a 20-point pace. Not to mention, he's only 23, and as a defenseman in the NHL, to be 23 and have 157 games under your belt, it's not an enormous list of players who can do that. In normal times, I'm going to say there's no way he'd be getting less than $1 million. If he goes to salary arbitration, maybe even 1.5. And that's just on a one-year deal. To negotiate going forward, maybe a long-term deal, who knows, could be over 2. But COVID did happen. Let's stop talking about times where COVID wasn't there. It's here. And the Leafs are down to the nickels and dimes. They're not in dire straits like some teams. Like, they might be a little over the cap. They might have to carry like a 21-man roster, a 20-man roster at times. But at the beginning of today, the Leafs had 2 players to sign. There was Joey Anderson, who the Leafs got for Andreas Johnsson from the New Jersey Devils, and Travis Dermott. And I think the Leafs had the same conversation with Travis Dermott that they've had with a lot of their free agents. Do you want to be a Leaf or not? Maybe not that aggressively. It might have been a little bit more friendly. Might have been something like this. Look, we want you as a Leaf. We know you want to be a Leaf. Here's what it's going to take to get that done. Like, I want to know what percent of 6-figure contracts in the NHL don't have a single number that's a 0. Because you know his camp was like, can we just have $875,000? And Dubas is like, you can, minus $875. And he'll never miss that money. Like, how much are Travis Dermott's skates? And don't get caught in the conversation of, well, I wish I had. You're not playing D for the Leafs. And at some point, Dermott had to go, you know what? I don't need the $875. How much do Travis Dermott's skates cost? And I gotta hand it to Travis, I really do. Because the Leafs have had to make some really tough decisions recently. Getting rid of Kasperi Kapanen in a trade, Andreas Johnsson in a trade. I like both those players. Andreas Johnsson has scored 20 goals in this league. You heard me talk many times on the podcast about, oh, but Kapanen's really fast. Travis Dermott, and the idea of trading Travis Dermott has always made me nervous because there's so much there with him. He became a Leafs defenseman, a regular Leaf defenseman at such a young age, and we're all like, this dude is going to be awesome. Analytics, darling, check out this chart and that one, and they're all nice. Fast, talented, creative, seems pretty cool, and the guy wants to be a Leaf. But the decision making sometimes. A little bit of the Bryan McCabe syndrome, which is a term I came up with. What does it mean? I'll tell you. It's basically you have like 95% of a good game, but then the 5% is just, it ruins the rest of it. What were Bryan McCabe's numbers the game where he scored on his own net in overtime? None of us know because he scored on his own net in overtime. And I think more than anything, much more than the decision making, what drove me nuts, Travis Dermott. He's going to play on the right side. Oh, would you stop? 4 years they've been talking about Travis Dermott playing on the right side. He prefers to play on the right side. Where? If Travis Dermott is a right side defenseman on the Toronto Maple Leafs, then I am the co-host of Tim and Sid. It's technically true. I did it once. I'm going to change my Twitter bio to co-host of Tim and Sid. It became a bit. Like, Babcock was never going to do it. It's like, guys, stop asking. And then Sheldon Keefe becomes head coach, and just you watch, and he never did it. And just a few weeks ago, Dubas is like, yeah, Travis is going to play the right side for us next season. I'm like, man, these guys are really dedicated to the bit. Because they got Brody, who's a lefty who plays the right. They got Mikko Lehtinen, who's a lefty who plays the right. They got Bogosian, who's a righty who plays the right. They got Justin Hall, who's a righty who plays the right. There's Liljegren, who's a righty who plays the right. Where? For most projections for the Leafs defense for this upcoming season that I've seen, Dermott is the third pair left D. And we know he can do that. But getting back to the point that I was trying to make a minute ago, Travis Dermott is getting his foot in the door. He's getting his foot in the door for a job he already has. What's his job? To be a Toronto Maple Leaf. Where? Oh, we'll figure that out later. Because even though for most of us a salary of $874,125 is not a sacrifice, for a professional hockey player with 3 years, with 157 games worth of experience, it is. This is not the first time Travis Dermott has put the team ahead of himself. 2018, the Leafs fall in 7 games to the Boston Bruins, unfortunately. I'm sorry to bring it up, but it's a thing that happened. And afterwards, 2 rookies named Andreas Johnsson and Travis Dermott were sent down to the Marlies. And it's a good thing too, because the Marlies, after being up 2-0 in a best-of-5 against the Utica Comets, were ready to blow it. It was going to Game 5. Johnsson steps in, Dermott steps in, big win. And the Marlies thrash their way to the Calder Cup final. Andreas Johnsson getting playoff MVP. Calder Cup playoff MVP. What about Travis Dermott? Well, the Calder Cup final goes to Game 7. And in Game 7, Travis, watch from the press box, because all playoff long he was battling an injury. And you know the hockey bravado thing is, hey, it's Game 7, bro. It's Game 7. You gotta play. And of course, if you've been working for something your whole life, you're gonna wanna play. You're gonna wanna play through it. Leave it all on the ice. I don't care if I gotta wear ice packs for the next month. I just wanna play in this game. But for Travis Dermott, he knew that waiting in the wings was a perfectly capable defenseman in Andrew Nielsen, just waiting to get into the lineup. So he swallowed his pride and sat out a championship deciding game. Because Travis Dermott understood that rings are a lot like hockey sweaters. The logo is on the front. Dermott would have been well within his rights to say, no, I'm sitting out, I want more money, you can trade me, you can do whatever you want. He didn't want to be traded. He wanted to continue to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. I love it, buddy. I love it. Now, let's not pretend. I think it's also a really smart financial decision for Travis Dermott. No, he doesn't get financial security. Obviously, you'd like a contract with some more money in it, some more term, especially for a guy who's already had surgery in his young career. But coming off of that surgery, he only had 11 points. He kind of struggled. Not to mention, even if he hadn't struggled, nobody's got any money right now. So he's doing a little bit of what his buddy Andreas Johnsson did a few years ago. It's a 1-year show-me deal. Show me. Now, I got into talking about hockey for a living because they said there'd be no math. And then Chris Johnston went and dropped this on us all, but it's pretty useful information. Here's the Leafs cap reallocation after the past few weeks. They signed and re-signed Ilya Mikheyev, Wayne Simmons, Jimmy Vesey, Joe Thornton, Jason Spezza, and Travis Boyd for about $450,000 less than they owed Andreas Johnsson and Kasperi Kapanen. They also signed TJ Brodie, Zach Bogosian, and Mikko Lehtinen for $300,000 less than they paid Cody Ceci and Tyson Barrie last season. Plus, they gave Travis Dermott a $10,000 raise. Raise your hand if you would like a $10,000 raise, please. I'll have one, please. Does it come in blue? Now, what's amazing about that tweet is the Leafs have all those guys that he just mentioned. All of them. Except Andreas Johnsson, who they actually got someone for, they got Joey Anderson, and Kasperi Kapanen, who they got the 15th overall pick for. It's only Ceci and Barrie who walked. I was thinking about something. Last year, there was the Cody Ceci, Nikita Zaitsev trade, and, well, you take on Cody Ceci so that you could get rid of Nikita Zaitsev. By the way, thank goodness that happened. Can you imagine if they still had Zaitsev's $4.5 million cap hit on the cap? And then there's Tyson Barrie. And why did they go out and get Tyson Barrie? Well, they needed someone on the right side. That was for sure. And not to mention, Nazem Kadri actually said no to the first trade. That trade would have been to Calgary, and the Leafs would have got TJ Brodie. Now, the Leafs still have cap concerns, but a lot of teams around the league have cap concerns. It's because of COVID. It's because of a pandemic. It's a situation that everyone is in collectively. You can't go, oh, woe is me, this isn't fair. Everyone's in it. So, some of Dubas's odd moves last season, some of his cap problems and cap finagling, not to mention the Patrick Marleau for a first deal, I didn't even think about that one. Those moves were to, what's the line? They were to fix Lou Lamoriello's mistakes, which is both true and really frustrating to explain when his new team is in the Eastern Conference Final. This year, where to go? Where's the Marleau deal? Where's Zaitsev? CC, Barry, any of that. Dubas wanted Brodie in the first place, now he's got him. He had this random hodgepodge of guys playing backup for the Leafs on the cheap. He went out and got Jack Campbell because they needed to. There's all these little things that, Dubas is filling all these little holes. This is Kyle Dubas's team. It's been his team for a few years, but now, any of the Lou stuff, guys, drop it. It's done. If this team is good, it's because of Kyle Dubas and company. If this team sucks, same deal. And I have no idea what this season will hold. We never do. And in fact, we don't have a start date or a season length or anything. But the job Kyle Dubas and company have done over the past few weeks, my goodness, sir. I must say I like it. As for Travis Dermott, I know it was his lifelong dream to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, but maybe not specific enough. Because I highly doubt when he was playing around in the driveway, he was going, the Leafs won Game 4 and then they dropped Game 5 to Columbus. Ah! No! In his dreams, he was on the Toronto Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup. Go out and make your dreams come true. Hey, before we go, here's how you can make my dreams come true. I've been asking you to donate to Easter Seals for a while now. Steve, what's in it for me? I'll tell you. There is something in it for you. If you make a donation to my Easter Seals page that is linked in the description and in the pinned comment on this video of any amount, $1,000, $100, $50, $10, $5, $2, any amount, you will be entered to win one of 5 NHL 21 codes. I got 5 kicking around, and I'm dying to give them to you. Make a donation anytime between now and Sunday, October 25th at noon Eastern, and you'll be entered into that draw. If you win, awesome. If you lose, at least you helped out a great cause that means a lot to me. So, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. May all your dreams come true.